We listen and we don't judge. Yes, I got arrested. Yes, I went to jail. But what the heck did I do to get arrested in the first place? All right? And why was I having a conversation about telling the cops to not put me in cuffs? And exactly what did the cops say when I said, hey, Mr. Officer, can you just put me in the back of the car without putting the cuffs on? And this is what he had to say. Let's get into it. Hi, my name is Shani, and if this is your first time here, welcome. If you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. Good to have you back. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please make sure you do subscribe, and I can continue bringing you more of these videos, more story times and stuff like that. And as you can tell by the title of this video, yes, I got arrested. And it's okay because it was a long time ago, so I'm past that now. Anyway, right? So let me tell you what happened. This was happened a few years ago, right? This was back in the day when I was in nursing school. I was poor, broke in nursing school. But the incident that led to my arrest happened like maybe 2 years prior to that, right? Maybe, yeah. It was about 1.5 years, 2 years prior to that, the incident happened that now led to me getting arrested that day. Okay, so it was basically a instant happened. I had got into a car accident, right? I had got into a minor fender bender, just a simple old minor fender bender. I got into an accident. Somebody kind of hit the back of my car. They kind of hit the side of my car, and it kind of knocked the back bumper of my car off, right? And at the time, I was, I didn't really have any money, so I kind of didn't have any car insurance either. Yeah. At the time of the accident, I didn't have car insurance. I had my son with me. Don't judge. We listen and we don't judge. I had my son, who was, I think at the time, he was like 4. And I was pregnant. I think I was probably like 3 months pregnant at the time. And I had went to my brother's girlfriend's house to go do his daughter's hair. It was like 7 o'clock in the evening. It was starting to get dark. And I was going home. I was on my way back home. And when the incident happened, right? So anyway, the guy was this Hispanic guy. He was real cool about it. But I said to him, I'm sorry, I don't have the insurance, but could I pay for your car or whatnot? I'll pay for it. So could you not call the cops and I'll just figure it out and I'll pay for your car. Just tell them what the damages are and I'll pay for it. He was like, no, I'm not doing that because that happened to me before and the person never paid and I ended up having to pay for it myself and the insurance, whatever, and my insurance went up. So he said, no, I'm not doing that. We're going to have to call the cops and file a report. So I didn't have a choice. He called the cop and he filed a report. And the cops, there was a bunch I don't know why so many cops came out for a simple fender bender. And I'm gonna tell you, in that town, when you have like a real issue, like a real crime going on, you call them, they don't even show up that fast. But for a simple fender bender, like 3 or 4 cars pulled up for a simple fender bender. And I'm like, what's going on? So, he told the cops that was taking the report, he told his side of the story, I told my side of the story. And I don't know what happened with the cop, or maybe he felt sorry for me or whatever. But for some reason, instead of him writing me a ticket for no insurance, he wrote me a ticket for no registration. And if you think about it, if you could write me a ticket for no registration, technically if my car is not registered and it's on the road, the rule is you told that damn car, but he didn't. So I don't know what he told his boss, because even the boss showed up. Even the supervisor on duty that day showed up. So I don't know what conversation all the cops that was there. It was like 4 or 5 of them that was there. And there was 4 of them plus the supervisor. So all together, it was like 5 police officers there, right? And the one who was writing the report and asking me all the questions and stuff wrote me a ticket for not having a registration, which in fact my car was registered. I had a registration. I showed him the registration, but for some reason he wrote me a ticket for no registration, whereas what he should have done was wrote me a ticket for no insurance. So all I had to do for that ticket was either pay the ticket or go to court and say, hey, here's my insurance card, and the ticket would have been dismissed. I didn't do any of that, okay? I ain't doing any of that because I'm like, I don't have no money to pay this ticket. I don't know what I'm going to do. So I didn't pay the ticket. And it sat there for a while. And in that particular city, they send you 2 warnings. They'll send you 2 warnings. Hey, you have a ticket that you didn't pay your ticket. And they'll add on like $10 to it. Hold on. This is a school bus pulling up outside and it's kind of loud, so hold on. Okay, I had to pause for a second because there's a school bus that just went by outside my block and outside my house, and it's really, really loud. But anyway, yeah, so I didn't pay a ticket, and they do send you, the city that got the ticket in, send you 2 warnings to your house. Normally that's what they do. They send you a first warning, hey, you got this ticket, you need to pay it, and they add like $10 to it for being late. Then they send you a second warning, hey, you still didn't pay this ticket, you're going to be in trouble, yada, 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 yada. And what I'm used to in a previous town, that the next town over, what they do, if you don't pay these tickets, they kind of they suspend your license. In this case, they didn't suspend my license. So I expected I was going to get something in the mail saying, hey, your license is suspended. You need to go fix this. That never happened. What happened eventually is they issued a warrant for my arrest. This particular town, instead of suspending your license, they issue you a bench warrant. And that's what happened. I had somehow forgotten all about this ticket, right? Didn't even think about it. It was like I said, when the accident happened, it was like maybe a year, almost 2 years later, a year and a half. I want to say a year and a half later that I got pulled over. I was driving to school. I was in nursing school. At this point, my daughter was 1 year old. My son was now 5. So like I said, it was a little over a year later. And I was driving to school. Don't worry, I had car insurance. No, I didn't. I don't remember. I think by this point, I had car insurance. I don't remember if I did at that time. I went to nursing school over 10 years ago, so I don't remember, right? So at this point, I'm driving, and I'm down the street. I'm almost at school. At this point, I had moved, and I live like, I want to say 5-minute drive from where I went to nursing school, right? So I'm driving to school. I'm driving down this block. And as I mosey along, I drove past a police car, and I'm like, please don't pull me over, please don't pull me over, please don't pull me over. But sure enough, as I hit down the block and I hit the traffic light, I see the cop driving along behind me. I'm like, please don't pull me over, please don't pull me over. I don't have time. I'm going to be late for school. He wasn't speeding or had his lights on. He was just driving regular. And then when he got behind me, he found his way behind me. He put his lights on. And where he put his lights on that particular street, there's no shoulders to stop. And it was kind of a busy street. There's no shoulders for me to pull over to park my car. It's a dangerous spot. So I think we had pulled up to another traffic light, and I kind of looked through the window and waved at him to come and pointed, I would go stop over there. I'm not stopping here because it's not safe. So I went over a little bit further, pulled into like a parking lot. But the parking lot, it was like a small parking lot, and there was no parking spaces. So I had kind of pulled over to like the fire lane or something and parked there. And he pulled me over. He said, do you know why I'm pulling you over? I'm like, no. He said, well, there's a warrant for your arrest because you had a ticket that you did not pay. And I'm like, what? A ticket? So I was kind of acting totally clueless. Like, I don't know what you're talking about, sir. I don't know what you're talking about. What ticket? He said, yes, you have a ticket that you didn't pay for non-registration. So I was like, my car is registered, run it. He's like, I did. I could see that your car is registered. I did run your plates. And he said, once you drove past me, the system, read your plates automatically. And that's why I pulled you over, because it comes up saying you have a warrant for your arrest. And I have to arrest you. I'm like, what? Mind you, this is like 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm on my way to school. School starts at I think school started at 8:30. So it probably was like 8:15, 8:20 at this point on my way to school. And I was almost at school. I was a couple blocks away from my school, honestly. And he was like, I have to put you under arrest and I have to take you in because there's an actual warrant. He's like, this is not a situation where I can write you a ticket and send you on your way. You actually have a warrant and I have to take you in. So I was like, okay, so what's going to happen? He's like, well, I have to take you to the police station and they're going to book you and stuff. And then you can go bail out. You can have somebody come bail you out. And he said if the ticket, where it's at now, the price of the ticket plus the fees, it's like a little over $100 you got to pay. So he said you got to pay the price of whatever the ticket is to bail you out. So it was like $100, maybe $115 at this point. So it's like, have somebody come bail you out, pay the $115, and then you go across the street to the courthouse and have it cleared. You go see the judge will clear you out. And whatever, go see your case, and we'll go from there. And it's not once you go to court, it's not something you're gonna be rearrested for. You just gotta pay the fine, and you'll be on your way. So, so I went to court. So at this point, I was standing outside my car. He's like, okay, now I have to put you in arrest and put you in the car. And I was like, well, let me lock my car up and let me call my dad to tell him to come and get me. So he allowed me to call my dad to come bail me out before he arrested me fully. So I called my dad to tell him where I was and what's happening, and say, hey, could you come down to the courthouse in about an hour to come get me, because they need time to book me and all that stuff. So come down to the police station and bail me out in about an hour. He was like, okay. So at this point now, he's like, okay, I have to put the cuffs on you and you have to get in the car. And I was like, but do you have to cuff me here? And mind you, I'm in my school uniform. I'm in my nurse's school uniform. He was like, I'm sorry, this is the rules. I have to cuff you. But he's like, you know what, just go ahead and sit in the car. So he didn't cuff me, he let me sit in the car. But once I sat in the car, he was like, I have to put the cuffs on you. You cannot be in the back of the car without having the cuffs on. So he put the cuffs on, and I was ready to cry. But at the same time, I was like, this is a minor offense. I didn't commit like a huge crime. It's a very minor traffic offense. I'll be out no time soon. So sure enough, yeah, he put the cuffs on. It was like a 5-minute drive to the police station. We went in, they started booking me, and then there was a female officer that came, and she started patting me down and searching me. She was checking everything, checking my pockets and empty everything out, checking my bag, everything. And she was like patting my head down. She was like, is that a wig? I was like, yeah, it's a wig. She was like, you're gonna have to take that off. I was like, what? She was like, if it's the wig, you have to take it off. But she was like, is it sewed on? If it's sewed on, you could keep it on. But if it's not sewed on, you have to take it off. And she was like, I don't know much about wigs. And she's doing all of this and doing all that. And she's like, I don't really know much about wigs. I think she had dreads, or I don't know if it braids or dreads, but she said, I don't really wear wigs, so I don't really know how it works. But I'm asking you, is it sewed down? And she kept asking me, and I said, no, it's not sewed down. She was like, well, it's almost like she ignored that statement of me saying, no, it's not sewed down. So she kept repeating, if it's sewed down, I don't have to take it off. But if it's not sewed down, you're going to have to take it off. So is it sewed down? And I was like, yeah, it's sewed down. Yeah, look, it doesn't come off. It's sewed down. Knowing good and well that wig was not sewed down. All right. So she was like, okay, since it's sewed down, I just gotta pat it to make sure you don't have no weapons under there. And she did a little bit of that. And she was like, okay, you can go sit in there in the holding cell. So, and I don't know if I got to call my dad again or whatever, but I sat there for about an hour doing nothing. She checked on me. She was like, you okay? I'm like, I'm okay. And then my dad came and bailed me out. So I was there for about an hour. My dad came and bailed me out. And then, I got my paper. And they took... Because before she pat me down, she was like, you're going to have to take the wig off and then take your mugshot. So I'm like, you're going to take my wig off and then take my mugshot without my wig? She's like, that's just the rules. So luckily, she kind of gave me a hint to tell her that my wig is sewed down. That way I didn't have to take it off. So I ended up having to take my picture with my wig on and didn't look a very hot mess. I mean, I had already looked a mess because I was, of course, in nursing school and broke. But she was like, yeah, now you could take your mugshots. They took my mugshot, and I was in the holding cell for about an hour. And then my dad came and got me. And then I walked across the street because the courthouse was directly across the street. So I walked over there and saw the judge. I was in the courthouse about 45 minutes waiting my turn. And of course, I think, I'm trying to remember, I think before I left, before he arrested me, put me in the car, I think my dad had came to where I was being arrested at, that parking lot. He came and I had gave him my keys and my stuff. So he had access to my keys and my stuff. And yeah, So I went across the street to the courthouse. I waited my turn and went to see the judge. Was a female judge. And all that she said, "Oh, you have a ticket here for no registration. Is your car registered?" And I said, "Yeah, my car is registered." And it was registered then too. And I showed her my current registration, and I showed her the registration from the time of the incident happened, to show that at the time that I did get the ticket for the no registration, I actually had registration. So I showed her my current registration and my expired registration, which was current at the time that I got the ticket. So she was like, "Okay, case dismissed, go pay your court fee." And court fee, I think, was like $40. So I had to pay $40 in court fee. Even though my case was dismissed, they still charge you that court fee, right? I'm not even going to tell you what town it is, but I'm going to tell you somewhere in Jersey. Right? New Jersey. I don't live in Jersey no more, but it was in Jersey. It was in New Jersey. I don't live in Jersey anymore. I've since moved from Jersey. But yeah. But I'm kind of grateful for the cop for writing me the ticket for the wrong thing, because it basically kind of got me out of more trouble. What else? I was grateful for my dad to come pick me up in such a rapid time, so I only spent like an hour there. And I was grateful for the judge for dismissing the case and dismissing the ticket, because I had proof that I had registration at the time. And that is how I got arrested, and that is why I got arrested, basically. So if you're out there getting these tickets, make sure you're paying them. Make sure you try your best to get insurance for your car, because people are out there scamming anyway. You want to make sure you have insurance, make sure your vehicle is registered, and yeah, that's it. That's what happened. And ladies, if you're gonna be out there getting arrested, make sure your wig is sewn on. And if it's not sewn on and they ask you, "Is your wig sewn on?" make sure you tell them, "Yes, the wig is sewn on." All right, so they don't take it off and then you're not in your mugshot looking a hot mess. That almost happened to me. So I'm thankful for that cop for not making me take my wig off, because there's a mugshot out there with me right now, and thankfully I had a wig on. I had a wig on. So that's my story. Let me know if you've ever been arrested, and if you saw the video, if you stayed this long in the video, make sure you like and subscribe this video, and let me know down in the comments what you think. Have you ever experienced this where you've been arrested? Or if you know anyone who's arrested for some stupid traffic fine and what happened to them, let me know. And thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye.